studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester. Transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Coopers Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Put your money in motion. Drive VMW, VM Wealth Management. Transform your everyday.
The time by VM Wealth Management is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Wednesday, October 1, 2025. A judge in the Trelawney Parish Court died on Tuesday evening. More people were in employment in July this year than July 2024, as unemployment remains at historic record low. Foreign Affairs Minister hits back at what she says are falsehoods from the opposition about the government's stance on Palestine. In regional news, effective today, workers will be able to live and work in 4 CARICOM states without permission or restriction. In international news, the U.S. federal government has shut down as Democrats and Republicans play hardball in negotiations. In sports, PSG Barcelona clash in the UEFA Champions League. And in business, social media app Snapchat to start charging for storing old posts. The details after the break.
Need reliable security for your business? Dual Protective Security is the perfect choice, providing round-the-clock security solutions and customer support. Our security experts will work with you to create customized solutions that fit your needs and budget. Contact us today and enjoy the peace of mind you deserve with their unbeatable security services. Dual Protective Security. Call 876-676-6987 or 876-415-4564.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. A judge in the Trelawney Parish Court, Ruth Lawrence, was pronounced dead at the Falmouth Hospital in the parish about 8 p.m. on Tuesday evening. Details are sketchy, but it's understood Judge Lawrence was working at home in Coral Spring in the parish. Her husband reportedly checked on her and found her unresponsive. She was rushed to the hospital where medics pronounced her dead. Jamaica's unemployment rate remains unchanged at its historic low of 3.3%. That's according to the latest information from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. By comparison, the unemployment rate in July 2024 was 3.6%. Statin says there were just over 32,000 more employed persons in July 2025 compared to July 2024. The largest increase in employment was observed in the manager's occupational group. In July 2025, the total labor force stood at 1,490,300 workers. That was 28,700 more than July 2024. An increase in the male labor force of 19,000 accounted for the bulk of increase. The survey was conducted between July and September 2025. Now, the Jamaican economy slightly outperformed the previous estimates for the second quarter of 2025. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, says real value added for the Jamaican economy rose by 1.6% in the period April to June 2025 compared to the same period in 2024. Robin Williams reports.
The 1.6% outturn for the quarter slightly surpassed the 1.4% estimated by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, in August. This increase was driven by growth in the goods producing and services industries, which expanded by 3.6% and 1% respectively. Higher output in the goods producing industries was due to improved performance in agriculture of 9.2%, construction 1.7%, and manufacturing 1.5%. However, the mining and quarrying industry declined by 4.8%. The services industries increased mainly due to growth, accommodation, and food service activities of 4.1% and financial and insurance activities at 3.9%. However, the industry's growth was tempered by declines in electricity, water supply and waste management of 2.6% and education, health and other services by 0.5%. Compared to the first quarter of 2025, the seasonally adjusted value added showed that the economy grew by 0.4%. This reflected a 2.3% increase in the goods producing industries. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Senior Deputy Governor at the Bank of Jamaica BOJ, Wayne Robinson, says that the central bank is confident in its growth projections for the third quarter based on the performance of tourism and agriculture. The bank is projecting that the Jamaican economy grew by between 3 and 4% for the third quarter. Robinson says the economy has largely recovered from previous shocks.
This is reflecting recovery from the impact of Beryl last year. Beryl hit in July, and we saw a significant impact in the September quarter, particularly for agriculture and across a number of sectors. But based on the information that has been coming in, certainly since the beginning of this year, the agricultural sector seemed to have recovered pretty strongly and pretty robustly. And of course, we know that tourism has actually bounced back. So based on our estimate, we believe that the economy has pretty much recovered from the impact of Beryl.
Robinson says the growth being recorded brings the government back to the pre-Beryl period of 2024. He says it bodes well for the economy.
It's now back to where we were at the time of the impact of Beryl.
Pretty much.
So the 3 to 4% should not be seen as any real acceleration in growth above the usual average of 1.2, 1.4% performance that we have had.
Yes, I would agree with that. But again, I think it still reflects, a positive development. I mean, certainly we have been seeing economic growth, in the previous quarter, and Statin should be releasing that actual number very, very shortly. Mm-hmm. And we expect to see that to be between 1 to 2%. So yes, it's recovery, but it's still a very encouraging signal about what's happening in the economy.
Wayne Robinson, a senior deputy governor at the BOJ. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday. Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith has hit back at her opposition counterpart, Senator Donna Scott Motley, over what she says are false allegations regarding the government's position on the war in Gaza.
To ignore all that has been said and done, including the actual recognition of the State of Palestine last year, a step never taken by any previous administration, and to elevate and decry our non-participation in a performative action taken not by the majority of states within the UN. It shows the image-focused and insubstantive approach of the PNP to matters of foreign policy.
Senator Scott Motley accused the government of abandoning the Palestinian people by deciding not to walk out of the UN General Assembly during last week's address by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The opposition was also critical of Jamaica's absence during a key vote on Palestine's address to the UN. During his address to the General Assembly, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness expressed horror at the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and called for a ceasefire and the acceptance of a two-state solution. He said such a course of action was the only lasting path towards peace. Minister Johnson Smith says the government's position has always been clear. She says the opposition is continuing the worrying practice of making false assertions.
Mrs. Scott Motley, Senator Scott Motley, and the PNP do themselves and these complex issues a disservice when they suggest that the government of Jamaica has failed to speak strongly on the issues when this is not the case. It's unfortunate that the PNP has continued their pre-general election trend of trying to create their own narrative, even when the facts clearly do not support their false statements.
Kamina Johnson-Smith, the Foreign Affairs Minister. Meanwhile, at least two attorneys have described as embarrassing Jamaica's decision not to walk out of the UN General Assembly during Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to the body. Jamaica was one of several countries whose delegates remained seated, while scores of diplomats exited the assembly in protest. Bert Samuels says it's embarrassing Jamaica did not show solidarity with their fellow diplomats.
It is embarrassing to see that conservative countries like England, France are now recognizing the Palestinian government, and we are afraid to put our necks out there to support it. We have always supported people who are oppressed. Jamaica was one of the first countries to lend support to the struggling South Africa, and hence that's why Jamaica was one of the first places that Mandela came to pay tribute, so that we are not going with the tradition of standing on the side of justice. When we were in slavery, we would have wanted other countries to blockade England and come on our side, so that because of our own history, I think we are failing ourselves.
Bert Samuels. Foreign Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says the decision to not walk out is consistent with the country's long-standing diplomatic practice. She stressed that Jamaica's practice is to be a voice of reason through dialogue and engagement. Jamaica has formally recognized the state of Palestine, doing so before some world powers. Barbados-based attorney Lalu Hanneman says small states cannot afford to remain silent on the Palestinian crisis.
It's more than embarrassing what Holness did. It's totally reprehensible. In effect, giving credence to a neo-fascist, which is who Benjamin Netanyahu is. Gaza, in effect, is happening right here in the Caribbean now with what's happening with Trump administration blowing up those small boats just off Trinidadian coast there. It's a Gazan logic. It's a Gazan reality that's happening here. International law is totally being ignored. And if we stand complacently and just on the sidelines, it's only a matter of time before our head is on the chopping block, and there'll be nobody left to stand to support us because everybody else would have gone.
Lalu Hanneman, a Barbados-based attorney and Secretary of Caribbean Against Apartheid in Palestine. They were speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday. And Associate Professor of Language, Culture and Society at the University of Technology, UTech, Dr. Rowan Lewis, says the government was exercising caution in order to prevent retaliation.
I think a number of countries now are trying to navigate between how do we determine whether our stance will, create greater challenges for us and our people, and whether or not we can make our positions very clear elsewhere. I mean, certainly we don't know what else the government of Jamaica is doing in terms of engaging around the critical situation in Gaza, but the government would have chosen not to make a bold public stance, given that its focus is dealing with very specific matters in Jamaica, and it doesn't want or doesn't feel that it can deal with the consequences of getting the wrath of the United States.
Dr. Rowan Lewis, Associate Professor of Language, Culture and Society at UTech. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday. Now, former Member of Parliament for South St. James, Homer Davis, is refuting claims by the PNP's Nikisha Burchell that he's undermining her authority in the constituency. Burchell unseated Davis in the September 3 general election. In a social media post over the weekend, Burchell outlined a slew of instances in which she says Davis has been inserting himself in constituency affairs. But Davis says he's only doing his part as a caretaker for the people of South St. James.
It's quite ridiculous of her to be saying, things like those. Because I will remind her that when she was the constituency caretaker for the PNP, she was all over the place. There are a number of projects that were starting, and I know I have no elected authority over these projects, but I can visit these projects. I can see what is happening on these projects, and I can make my own comment, and that is something that I will be doing.
Burchell alleged that there's not much left in the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, due to Davis having overcommitted resources from the facility. She says she will be undertaking an audit of the CDF. Davis brushed off the allegation as evidence of Burchell's inexperience.
No, they don't need to take place. You can check with the CDF office. I'm sure she will be in a meeting with the CDF director before the end of this week for them to tell her exactly how the CDF is handled, how it is managed. I would be down to some level of inexperience. But I guess she will learn.
Homer Davis, a JLP caretaker for South St. James. More than 1,600 pounds of ganja were seized during a police operation on the Pamfret Main Road in St. Thomas on the weekend. 2 men have been taken into custody in relation to the seizure. According to the police, 2 motor cars were intercepted and searched. The search revealed 33 knitted bags containing compressed ganja. The men arrested are 41-year-old Ryan Chambers of Whitehouse, Westmoreland, and 30-year-old Takashi Foster of Slipe, St. Elizabeth. They were charged with possession of ganja, dealing in ganja, taking steps preparatory to export ganja, and trafficking ganja. Their court date is being finalized. This marks the second major ganja seizure in St. Thomas in just over a week. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:17.
Decorate like a designer with BH Paints. The temperature brought to you by BH Paints is
28 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 23 degrees Celsius. The following announcement is from the National Housing Trust. The NHT is now accepting applications for serviced lots in Malvern, St. Elizabeth. You have until Wednesday, October 1 to apply. Applications will be accepted online only at www.nht.gov.jm. In regional and international news this morning, regional news, a historic EU-style free movement agreement comes into force in 4 Caribbean countries today, Wednesday, October 1. Officials hope the deal will stem the flow of skilled professionals leaving the region for North America and Europe. The agreement between Barbados, Belize, Dominica, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines follows decades of discussions and negotiations among members of CARICOM. CARICOM. The full free movement will allow nationals of those 4 countries to reside, work, and remain indefinitely in any of the countries without the need for a work or residency permit. It is an expansion of migration options currently offered under the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, in which CARICOM nationals can apply to reside in any participating member countries under categories such as skills, services, and business establishment. International, the U.S. government shut down on Wednesday after congressional Democrats refused to support a Republican plan to extend funding for federal departments unless they won a series of concessions centered on health care. The GOP, which controls the Senate and the House of Representatives, rejected the demands, setting off a legislative scramble that lasted into the hours before funding lapsed at midnight. The shutdown is the first since a 35-day closure that began in December 2018 and extended into the new year during Donald Trump's first term. It comes as Democrats look to regain their footing with voters who re-elected Trump last year and relegated them to the minority in both chambers of Congress. Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer blamed Republicans for plunging America into a shutdown, rejecting bipartisan talks, pushing a partisan bill, and risking America's health care. President Trump has blamed Democrats and has threatened to punish the party and its voters by targeting progressive priorities and forcing mass public sector job cuts. Also in international news at this hour, the death toll from a magnitude 6.9 earthquake that struck central Philippines has risen to 60. The shallow quake struck off Bogo, a city of 90,000 near the northern tip of the populous island of Cebu late on Tuesday. The quake caused the collapse of several buildings and tore up large stretches of roadway. The Philippines, one of the world's most disaster-prone countries, is often hit by earthquakes and volcanic eruptions due to its location on the Pacific Ring of Fire, an arc of seismic faults around the ocean. The archipelago is also hit by about 20 typhoons and storms each year. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. Looking for superior quality transportation from an international award-winning provider? Well, look no further. Choose Island Car Rentals, Jamaica's leading car rental company, setting the standard for ground transportation in Jamaica. For over 50 years, Island Car Rentals has been your trusted partner for reliable, top-quality vehicles. But we're more than just a car rental company. Need an airport transfer at any hour? Heading out of town and want to travel in style with a private chauffeur? Need a truck to rent for business or personal use? Or maybe you need a customized shuttle or tour for a large or a small group? Whatever your transportation need, Island Car Rentals has you covered. Call us today at 876-926-8012 or 876-929-5875 or visit www.islandcarrentals.com to book your next trip. Because Island people take better care of you.
Time now for your morning sports. We begin with some football news. Mount Pleasant Academy ended the group stage of the Caribbean Club Championship with a perfect record after beating Universidad OM of the Dominican Republic 2-0 at the National Stadium on Tuesday night. Gadil Irving gave Mount Pleasant the lead in the 36th minute, and Ronaldo Biggs made the point safe in the 63rd. Mount Pleasant, who had already qualified for the semi-finals, will now await their opponent for the last four clash over two legs, October 21 and 30. Defending champions PSG will square off with Barcelona in the pick of the fixtures on Wednesday's schedule in the UEFA Champions League. The clash in Catalonia is described as the final that wasn't last season, with Barca falling at the semi-final hurdle. Inform Arsenal will be home at the Emirates to Olympiacos of Greece. Manchester City visit AS Monaco. Newcastle travel to Belgium to face Union Saint-Gilloise, and Villarreal host Juventus. Finally, in your morning sports, Jamaica's Rovman Powell and Brandon King are among 15 senior players who have been issued West Indies retainer contracts effective October 1, 2025 to September 30, 2026. It was announced on Tuesday that the Board of Directors at Cricket West Indies approved the recommendations for the players to be retained. The approval comes following the 2024-2025 evaluation period, with a selection based on performance and projected involvement in upcoming fixtures. The contract cycle also includes the continuation and expansion of multi-year agreements designed to reward consistent performers, provide security, and strengthen the board's ability to retain top talent. The other senior men who have been contracted are Alec Athanaze, Casey Carty, Roston Chase, Justin Greaves, Shea Hope, Akil Hussain, Azari Joseph, Shamar Joseph, Gudakesh Moti, Sherfin Rutherford, Jaden Seals, Romario Shepherd, and Jamel Warrican. 13 senior women were also issued contracts, including Jamaica's Chanel Henry and Stefani Taylor. And that's it for your morning sports.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
In business this morning, Snapchat is going to start charging for storing old photos and videos users keep on the platform. The popular messaging app has allowed users to save and store previously posted content in its memories feature since it was introduced in 2016. But it says people with more than 5 gigabytes worth of memories will now need to pay to keep them available. The app's parent company, Snap, declined to tell BBC News how much the storage plans would cost UK users, saying only that the change would be made as part of a gradual global rollout. Users on social media have reacted with dismay to the announcement. Snap has acknowledged it's never easy to transition from receiving a service for free to paying for it, but suggested it would be worth the cost for users. Snap said in a blog post announcing the move that the changes will allow it to continue to invest in making memories better for its entire community. It said more than 1 trillion memories had been saved by users since being introduced nearly a decade ago. Now, a sunscreen scandal in Australia is continuing to grow, with 18 products now pulled from shelves in the skin cancer hotspot over safety concerns. Analysis by a consumer advocacy group in June found several popular and expensive sunscreens did not provide the protection claimed by their makers. One product, Ultraviolet's Lean Skin Screen, is supposed to offer a skin protection factor SPF of 50 plus. However, it instead returned a result of SPF 4 and was voluntarily recalled in August. An investigation by the medicines regulator has now warned about 20 more sunscreens from other brands which share the same base formula and raised significant concerns about a testing laboratory. Finally, in foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar has lost 17 cents and will open trading against the benchmark US dollar, selling for an average $161.22. Against the Canadian, the Jamaican has lost 40 cents and will open selling for an average $116.51. And the Jamaican dollar has lost $1.88 and will begin trading for an average $216.87 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
Protecting your personal data is a priority for the Jamaica Customs Agency. We urge you to use the agency's official platforms to conduct your business. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
6:30.
Already have a T-Tag for your vehicle? Just top it up and go through. Now you can see funds in your T-Tag account almost immediately after topping up. So if you're already on your journey, you can safely pull off the road and top up using the My T-Tag app or WhatsApp, or ask a passenger to do it for you. And within 5 to 10 minutes, you can enjoy the lower toll rates and other benefits of the T-Tag link. Even if you forget to top up before you started your trip, top up your T-Tag and continue to go through quicker and cheaper on Transjam highways.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Some Duke on the vibe.
This blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow, you they go.
This year, good news, giant plenty money. Go to follow, you they go.
Everything I've been wanting, manifest. manifesting for my life.
Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life.
Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My Baba, you too shy, no fit for your hand. Even before you call, you don't answer prayer. My Baba, you too shy for your hand. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life. Blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow, you they go.
This year, good news, giant plenty burning. Go to follow, you they go.
Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life. Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life. Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your
life. Some Duke on the vibe.
This year, blessing, money, testimony. Go to follow, you they go.
This year, good news, giant plenty burning. Go to follow, you they go.
Everything I've been wanting, manifesting for my life.
Everything you've been wanting, manifesting for your life.
Even before you call.
Morning. Good morning. It is midweek. It is Wednesday. Bright and early. Mr. King is smiling there behind the control. I'm glad I can't hear what he's saying, but good morning to you listeners. If you're on your way to work, if you are already at work, I know some of you guys are early birds. I worked with somebody, Tana. Well, good morning to you, Tana.
Good morning.
My apologies. Yes, I worked with somebody that was at work from about 6 o'clock sharp, and she came that early because she honestly didn't like the traffic. Good morning to you, Vanessa. I know you might be listening, so I've said good morning to you. Yeah, she didn't like the traffic. She got there at 6 or sometime after 6. Yeah, she didn't like the traffic. No, I totally understand. For me, Tana,
yes.
It's either I'm going to be really early or I'm going to come somewhat late, because I can choose lateness, but it depends. If you have something that's so time sensitive today, you know that you'll be thrown off if you're late.
Yeah,
I'll just go really early. Yeah. So
navigating the city takes a lot of scheduling.
Gosh.
It takes a lot of scheduling, and it takes understanding and knowing roads in the city.
Oh gosh, Tana. I was lamenting about picking up my little sister from school. For a couple of days that I've been doing it, and I realized the process takes me 2 hours. Right. So the process to leave from where I am, to then go, to then bring her home, to then leave there, to then go back to work or wherever else I'm going after, it can easily take 2 hours based on the timing and the traffic and everybody else doing their pickups, and then you have to and I'm navigating because I have my roads that I drive on that bring me there faster, so the traffic is not, I don't have as much of the traffic as those who take all the normal routes.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, I calculated it, and if I'm lying, I'm dying, because the car itself has a thing where it tells you, you've been driving for 2 hours.
Oh my goodness.
It's time for you to take a rest.
Oh wow. you know what's always pretty cool about traffic? Yes, there's something that's pretty cool about traffic. The people who benefit from traffic. No, Jermaine, not the passenger princesses. The vendors,
yes,
the sellers,
yes, they do benefit.
They think traffic is cool.
Yeah,
because I had the unfortunate experience of being in peak hour traffic yesterday evening, and oh my goodness, and you see the sellers, the Tigger bag goes down so quickly, or is it Tiggers?
Yeah,
that's snack.
Yeah,
right. The snack bags go down so quickly. You see a man walking up in traffic with a full bag of Tiggers, and then by the time he goes down and makes his way back up, like there's 2 Tiggers left in the bag. You know, the juice man, the man with the box of donuts.
Yeah.
All of those people in traffic, the peanut man.
They benefit. Listen.
They don't mind traffic.
Yeah.
Because persons in traffic, you're frustrated, you're thirsty, you need something to munch on.
Yeah.
And they're right there.
Yeah.
You know?
The peanut man has seen my money countless times when it comes to traffic, because I like roasted peanuts, so it's something that I generally buy when I'm in that situation, Tana. So all those things, but I'm seeing a lot of
It's not Tiggers, Charmaine. What's it called?
Not Tiggers. Yeah, it's not Tiggers, it's Tiggers. Tiggers, we call it Tig.
Right.
A-Z. Yeah. So I'm seeing a lot of you in the chat. Morning to you. Kingsley Graham, special good morning to you. Andrew Clark, good morning to you. Erica Smith, Linton Brown. Marigold, good morning. Donald Martin, good morning to you. And Andrea Dunk. Yeah. So, well, there are 2 things I'm going to focus on. I think Jermaine and I were discussing this one, and then we'll turn to your experience, Tana. Tana has had one of the most interesting experiences. I'm sure you want to hear about it, but
I'm one of the first 2,000.
Wow. Wow. I hope you get paid to say that. So in
unpaid ambassador.
You're unpaid. Your goodwill ambassador for the program. In South St. James, we're seeing a bit of a fracas. I'll talk about this in less than 2 minutes. Publicly, the newly elected member of parliament, Nikisha Burchell, had to come out making a video about her opponent still visiting certain sites and talking to contractors, asking him to cease and desist. In some cases, I see people saying she's telling him to retire and all of those things. And I found it very funny. Because elections are gone. One side has lost, one side has won. If you have run as an MP and you have won, you've won. There are many things, well, a lot of things that the person who was the candidate who has lost, he just can't do. There are a lot of things he physically can't do. His signature doesn't go on those documents anymore. The consultations must be had with Miss Burchell. So I didn't understand why there was a public back and forth about it, as if we don't know that all the relevant things that should happen as it relates to Parliament and handovers must happen. There's nothing Mr. Davis can do about that. And honestly, I find it very weird when persons have an issue with him as the former MP visiting a project that he lobbied for. That again, we see caretakers over the years visiting projects, going spaces. They're citizens, they live in the space. They can visit any project and take any picture. I can go beside a road and say, boy, it's long time I've been on air telling the government that this road must be fixed, good work, and take a picture. I can do that too. So I didn't know if, and you can tell me, Tana, what you think about it, but I don't know if it meets the metal of any type of impact in her work as member of parliament, because I thought that was much ado about nothing, and it was common play in what exists in our two-party system and our politics when we have MPs and caretakers going up for the same space.
Yeah, and I mean, long historically in Jamaica, you have caretakers who will go on the same very roads. Yeah. Because at some point in time, they'll also be trying to seek office again.
Yeah. And
talking about water issues, road issues, light posts with lights that are out, all of these things. So, I mean, what is being spoken about here? Much ado about nothing.
Yeah.
You are the one in Parliament.
She's the one. It's her signature. I'm going to say it again. Nikisha Birch's signature now goes on the documents for that constituency. Nobody can change that. She has won. Yeah. That's that, and that's it. But we're going to switch gears. Tana.
Yes.
Tana went to NERA. For those of you who don't know, Tana, what is NERA?
So, NERA is the body that will be responsible for issuing or national IDs. So a lot of people were not applying for the national ID, but it got a bit of a bounce after the Prime Minister posted on his social media account, Instagram and elsewhere, a flyer saying that persons can now enroll at the Central Sorting Office at 6 to 10 South Camp Road to get their national ID. So I made that move yesterday to go, but I had sent an email before. You can send an email or call the office.
Does
to
that
tell
make
them.
the process easier to send the email before?
Yes, because you have to set up an appointment.
Okay.
So you have to have an appointment day and an appointment time to go in and get your application done. So I did send my email. They responded in a timely manner, and I was able to set up a date and time when I would go in to get my national ID process started. Now, when they emailed me back about what time and day I would be coming based on the period that was available, they sent back an email with what they call important notes. And in that, they itemize what you need to bring, the documents that you need to bring. So they said your TRN must be presented. That one is a must. Your birth certificate, your driver's license, if available, passport, if available, NIS, if available, marriage certificate or decree absolute, if applicable, proof of name change if name is different from your birth certificate, marriage certificate, or deed poll, justice of the peace ID or instrument of office if you are a JP, of course, and your electoral ID if available, and proof of address, a utility bill not older than 3 months, and or a letter from a JP. If you're born overseas, you also have a list of documents that they're asking you to take: a passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency stamp if you're a resident, naturalized citizens, a copy of your Jamaican certification of citizenship, TRN must be presented, driver's license if available, and proof of name change if name is different from your passport, marriage certificate, or deed poll. So I brought the relevant documents for me, and then you walked in. It was such a very customer-friendly environment. You got into the space, there was a representative available, and then you presented all of your documents and the process started. Everything that is being inserted into the system, you're also seeing on a screen that is projected to your face. And then for the TRN, the TAJ, know that the application process has begun. The TAJ will check to see if the TRN that you have presented is indeed your TRN. The RGD would check to see if your birth certificate information that is indeed your birth certificate and all the information is correct. And then once those checks are done, they will go ahead now to print your national ID. You also had to do your fingerprinting, take your picture, of course. Those are the biometrics that were done yesterday. The ID expires in 10 years, and for children it's 5, because the national ID, everybody in Jamaica can have a national ID. So children can also go and get their national ID, of course, accompanied by their parent or guardian who will assist with that process. And some very interesting things about the ID as well is that on the back of it, if you're a Jamaican citizen, a C goes on the back of your ID. If you have been living in Jamaica for more than 6 months and you're seeking to get a national ID, a R goes on the back of the ID to say that you are a resident. If you're a JP, that can be added to the back of the card as well. A chip will be on your national ID card so that when it is that you're going to establishments, they'll have something similar to a point of sale, but it's not a point of sale, where you'll be able to tap your card. So that's the ease of doing business aspect that will come in there. So you won't need to walk with a bag of documents and have JP sign anything or anything like that. You just need to have your national ID with the chip. Once you tap that, your information will come up to say all of the things that they need to know about you. So you don't need to walk with all of those documents anymore. So I found that pretty interesting. And they also indicated that if it is that you have a disability as well, that can be added to the back of your card too. For example, the wheelchair sign can be added to the back of your card that will assist at ports of entry, because maybe you can walk, but you need the wheelchair once you get into an airport or somewhere else to move you around. That will be indicated on the back of your card. So those are the details going on your national ID card. For persons out there who are asking when it will be rolled out across the country, I was informed that they're now working on refurbishing 24 post offices. 24 post offices across the country by the end of this year and next year, so that the national ID card rollout can be island-wide. And how long does the process take? Up to 14 days.
So
it can be
does that
sooner.
mean we don't need the electoral ID that we have? Will that
You
be?
do not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would suffice or swap out for that. Okay.
Indeed. And it seems, and your driver's license information
is also
added
on it.
is also captured to the national ID. So I'm thinking we might get to a point where if it is that you have a driver's license and you go in for your national ID, your national ID will also be able to your national ID will suffice as also your driver's license. It's the hope that we'll get to that point as well in use of the national ID card. But a really good experience. I cannot complain. As I said, I'm now a national ID ambassador.
She's not being paid,
volunteering to be a national ID ambassador. So if it is that you're in the city, or you can make your way to the city, go to the central sorting office and get that process started to get your national ID card.
Truth is, you can live life to the fullest with HIV. This time signal is brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The time is...
It's 6:51.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston City, 27 degrees Celsius out west in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in the cool hills of Mandeville.
60 years strong and just getting started. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Jamaica proudly presents its annual business conference, the highlight of its 60th anniversary year. Join them Thursday, October 9 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Hear from keynote speaker, CEO of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Mr. Livingston Morrison, plus top industry leaders on global trade, the evolving CFO role, and AI in accounting. Don't miss it. Register by October 4 at icaj.org.
When you hear those horns, you know what time it is. Ludlow McLean is here with us for Street Smart to give us a quick one this morning. Good morning to you, Ludlow.
Quick one. Good morning, Twana, and
hey,
everybody. Right, and just to let you know that it's already busy from this morning. So if you're coming up the foot of the hill there, Redis, it's going to be busy. If you're coming from Perkins Estate onto Redis Road, bumper in that vicinity, and Redis Road, Washington Boulevard, all of these areas has traffic in going through the Bay Farm areas, plenty of traffic. So it's the first report until about 7:20. Back to you, Sondre.
Thank you, Ludlow. Thank you for that quick one. It's now time for a word of the day.
Your word of the day is spelled Doohickey, spelled Doohickey.
Doohickey. Doohickey. Doohickey.
It's a gadget. Doohickey is a gadget. It's a noun and it's a gadget. And Dictionary.com is telling us that doohickey is an Americanism dating back to 1910, between 1910 and 1915, doohickey. And let's see. The sentence provided by The Verge on Dictionary.com this morning, it's one of those little mechanical doohickeys, mechanical gadgets, where you push it in, then it pops out. Doohickey.
Well, all of
is
us,
your word of the day.
All of us walk around with a doohickey in our pocket, our phones.
There you go.
Our phones are gadgets.
A gadget. Doohickey is your word of the day. You simply slot the little thumb drive sized doohickey, little thumb drive sized gadget into the appropriate slot in your sleeve and pair it to your phone. Doohickey is your word of the day. Don't know if you'll have reason to use this synonym or you'll continue to just say gadget, but yeah. Doohickey.
Yeah.
Doohickey. Doohickey, a noun. It's a gadget.
If you're expecting kittens in your home, it's important to understand what to expect during your cat's pregnancy, which typically lasts around 63 days or about 9 weeks. Here's a week-by-week guide to help you care for your cat and prepare for her new arrivals. This week on Pets World, a week-by-week guide through cat's pregnancy. Week 1 and 2. In the early weeks, you may not notice any changes in your cat. The fertilized eggs don't implant in her uterus until the end of week 2, so she might still act as though she's not pregnant, including continuing her heat cycles. If she mates again, she could even end up with kittens from different fathers. Week 3. By now, the eggs have implanted and your cat will begin to show signs of pregnancy. A hormone surge triggers noticeable changes, like the end of her heat cycles. You might notice her nipples become larger and darker. This is known as pinking. Week 4. Around week 4, some cats experience morning sickness and your cat may start vomiting and losing interest in food. While occasional sickness is normal, contact your vet if it's frequent or if she's refusing to eat. This is also when your cat will begin to gain weight and your vet can confirm her pregnancy with an ultrasound. Be gentle and avoid handling her too much. Week 5. At this stage, your cat's kittens are developing well. Her belly will continue to grow and the vet will be able to feel her abdomen and estimate how many kittens she's expecting. However, don't attempt to feel her belly yourself. It's best left to the professionals. Week 6. Your cat will have a very noticeable round belly, and you might even be able to feel the kittens moving. She'll also be hungrier, so make sure she has access to a nutritious, high-quality diet that meets the needs of a pregnant cat. Let her eat as much as she needs. Week 7. At this point, your cat might begin nesting, seeking a quiet, comfortable spot to have her kittens. Create a safe space for her, like a warm area with soft blankets. She may also become more affectionate and purr more, seeking your attention. She's getting ready for the big event. Week 8. As she nears the end of her pregnancy, your cat's nipples will become more swollen and she may groom excessively. You may notice some fur thinning on her belly. This is perfectly normal and will grow back once she's finished nursing. Week 9. In the final week, you might see a small amount of red-colored discharge, which is a sign that birth is imminent. Your cat may become more anxious, pacing around or seeking extra reassurance from you. If she retreats to her nesting spot, the kittens could soon be on their way. Week 10. Although most cats give birth at around 9 weeks, sometimes they may take up to 10 weeks. If your cat hasn't gone into labor by the end of week 10 and you're concerned, it's a good idea to call your vet for advice. By following these steps and staying in close contact with your vet, you can ensure that both your cat and her kittens stay healthy and safe during the pregnancy and beyond. That's all for Pets World. Until next time.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
They will get loud if they can't have their own way, screaming, kicking, and dragging themselves on the ground. I know you're tempted to scold them. On Lifestyle Pages today, tips on how to discipline your child in public. I'm Tana. It can be the most embarrassing thing when your child is rude in public and throws a tantrum that captures the attention of so many people who will stare at you. First, explain to your child from home what you're going to do and stick to it. Give your child alternatives. Children need help with replacing an undesirable behavior with something new that will help them control themselves. Reward and punishment. Put meaningful rewards in place for good behavior and for bad. These punishments should not involve spanking and should be age appropriate. Nip it in the bud. Consistently enforce punishment. If you wait until later or only doing it sometimes, then you will not see behavioral changes. Most importantly, you as the adult need to stay calm at all times. Don't shout, don't argue, and never give up. I'm Tana, and those were your Lifestyle Pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore. Kingston or Bay. The temperature by National Supply is...
28 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 27 out west in Montego Bay, and still 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 for this morning, Wednesday, October 1, 2025. A judge in the Trelawney Parish Court died on Tuesday evening. More people were employed in July this year than July 2024 as unemployment remains at historic record low. Foreign Affairs Minister hits back at what she says are falsehoods from the opposition about the government's stance on Palestine. And in international news, the U.S. federal government has shut down as Democrats and Republicans play hardball in negotiations. The details after the break.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. A judge in the Trelawney Parish Court, Ruth Lawrence, was pronounced dead at the Falmouth Hospital in the parish about 8 p.m. on Tuesday evening. Details are sketchy, but it's understood that Judge Lawrence was working at home in Coral Spring in the parish. Her husband reportedly checked on her and found her unresponsive. She was rushed to hospital where medics pronounced her dead. Jamaica's unemployment rate remains unchanged at its historic low of 3.3%. That's according to the latest information from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. By comparison, the unemployment rate in July 2024 was 3.6%. Statin says there were just over 32,000 more employed persons in July 2025 compared to July 2024. The largest increase in employment was observed in the management Managers Occupational Group. In July 2025, the total labor force stood at 1,490,300 workers. That was 28,700 more than July 2024. An increase in the male labor force of 19,000 accounted for the bulk of increase. The survey was conducted between July and September 2025. The Jamaican economy slightly outperformed previous estimates for the second quarter of 2025. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica Statin says real value added for the Jamaican economy rose by 1.6% in the period April to June 2025 compared to the same period in 2024. Robin Williams reports.
The 1.6% outturn for the quarter slightly surpassed the 1.4% estimated by the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, in August. This increase was driven by growth in the goods producing and services industries, which expanded by 3.6% and 1% respectively. Higher output in the goods producing industries was due to improved performance in agriculture of 9.2%, construction 1.7%, and manufacturing 1.5%. However, the mining and quarrying industry declined by 4.8%. The services industries increased mainly due to growth, accommodation, and food service activities of 4.1% and financial and insurance activities at 3.9%. However, the industry's growth was tempered by declines in electricity, water supply, and waste management of 2.6% and education, health, and other services by 0.5%. Compared to the first quarter of 2025, the seasonally adjusted value added showed that the economy grew by 0.4%. This reflected a 2.3% increase in the goods producing industries. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
Senior Deputy Governor at the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, Wayne Robinson, says that the central bank is confident in its growth projections for the third quarter based on the performance of tourism and agriculture. The bank is projecting that the Jamaican economy grew by between 3 and 4% for the third quarter. Robinson says the economy has largely recovered from previous shocks.
This is reflecting recovery from the impact of Beryl last year. Beryl hit in July, and we saw significant impact in the September quarter, particularly for agriculture and across a number of sectors. But based on the information that has been coming in, certainly since the beginning of this year, the agriculture sector seemed to have recovered pretty strongly and pretty robustly. And of course, we know that tourism has actually bounced back. So based on our estimate, we believe that the economy has pretty much recovered from the impact of Beryl.
Robinson says that the growth being recorded brings the government back to the pre-Beryl period of 2024. He says it bodes well for the economy.
It's now back to where we were at the time of the impact of Beryl.
Pretty much.
So the 3 to 4% should not be seen as any real acceleration in growth above the usual average of 1.2, 1.4% performance that we have had.
Yes, I would agree with that. But again, I think it still reflects, a positive development. I mean, certainly we have been seeing economic growth, in the previous quarter, and Statin should be releasing that actual number very, very shortly. Mm-hmm. And we expect to see that to be between 1 to 2%. So yes, it's recovery, but it's still a very encouraging signal about what's happening in the economy.
Wayne Robinson is Senior Deputy Governor at the Bank of Jamaica. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday. Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith has hit back at her opposition counterpart, Senator Donna Scott Motley, over what she says are false allegations regarding the government's position on the war in Gaza.
To ignore all that has been said and done, including the actual recognition of the State of Palestine last year, a step never taken by any previous administration, and to elevate and decry our non-participation in a performative action taken not by the majority of states within the UN. It shows the image-focused and insubstantive approach of the PNP to matters of foreign policy.
Senator Scott Motley accused the government of abandoning the Palestinian people by deciding not to walk out of the UN General Assembly during last week's address by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The opposition was also critical of Jamaica's absence during a key vote on Palestine's address to the UN. During his address to the General Assembly, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness expressed horror at the humanitarian crisis in Gaza and called for a ceasefire and the acceptance of a two-state solution. He said such a course of action was the only lasting path towards peace. Minister Johnson Smith says the government's position has always been clear. She says the opposition is continuing the worrying practice of making false assertions.
Mrs. Scott Motley, Senator Scott Motley, and the PNP do themselves and these complex issues a disservice when they suggest that the government of Jamaica has failed to speak strongly on the issues when this is not the case. It's unfortunate that the PNP has continued their pre-general election trend of trying to create their own narrative, even when the facts clearly do not support their false statements.
Kamina Johnson-Smith, the Foreign Affairs Minister. Meanwhile, at least two attorneys have described as embarrassing Jamaica's decision not to walk out of the UN General Assembly during Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's address to the body. Jamaica was one of several countries whose delegates remained seated, while scores of diplomats exited the assembly in protest. Bert Samuels says it's embarrassing Jamaica did not show solidarity with their fellow diplomats.
It is embarrassing to see that conservative countries like England, France are now recognizing the Palestinian government, and we are afraid to put our necks out there to support it. We have always supported people who are oppressed. Jamaica is one of the first countries to lend support to the struggling South Africa, and hence that's why Jamaica is one of the first places that Mandela came to pay tribute, so that we are not going with the tradition of standing on the side of justice. When we were in slavery, we would have wanted other countries to blockade England and come on our side, so that because of our own history, I think we are failing ourselves.
Bert Samuels. Foreign Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says the decision to not walk out is consistent with the country's long-standing diplomatic practice. She stressed that Jamaica's practice is to be a voice of reason through dialogue and engagement. Jamaica has formally recognized the state of Palestine, doing so before some world powers. Barbados-based attorney Lalu Hanneman says small states cannot afford to remain silent on the Palestinian crisis.
It's more than embarrassing what Holness did. It's totally reprehensible. In effect, giving credence to a neo-fascist, which is who Benjamin Netanyahu is. Gaza, in effect, is happening right here in the Caribbean now with what's happening with Trump administration blowing up those small boats just off Trinidadian coast there. It's a Gazan logic. It's a Gazan reality that's happening here. International law is totally being ignored. And if we stand complacently and just on the sidelines, it's only a matter of time before our head is on the chopping block and there'll be nobody left to stand to support us because everybody else would have gone.
Lalu Hanneman, Barbados-based attorney and secretary of Caribbean Against Apartheid in Palestine. They were speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday. And Associate Professor of Language, Culture and Society at the University of Technology, UTEC, Dr. Rowan Lewis, says the government was exercising caution in order to prevent retaliation.
I think a number of countries now are trying to navigate between how do we determine whether our stance will, create greater challenges for us and our people, and whether or not we can make our positions very clear elsewhere. I mean, certainly we don't know what else the government of Jamaica is doing in terms of engaging around the critical situation in Gaza, but the government would have chosen not to make a bold public stance, given that its focus is dealing with very specific matters in Jamaica, and it doesn't want or doesn't feel that it can deal with the consequences of getting the wrath of the United States.
Dr. Oran Lewis, Associate Professor of Language, Culture and Society at UTech. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Tuesday. Former Member of Parliament for South St. James, Homer Davis, is refuting claims by the PNP's Nikisha Burchell that he's undermining her authority in the constituency. Burchell unseated Davis in the September 3 general election. In a social media post over the weekend, Burchell outlined a slew of instances in which she says Davis has been inserting himself in constituency affairs, but Davis says he's only doing his part as a caretaker for the people of South St. James.
It's quite ridiculous of her to be saying, things like those, because I will remind her that when she were the constituency caretaker for the PNP, she was all over the place. There are a number of projects that were started, and I know I have no elected authority over these projects, but I can visit these projects. I can see what is happening on these projects, and I can make my own comment, and that is something that I will be doing.
Burchell alleged that there's not much left in the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, due to Davis having overcommitted resources from the facility. She says she will be undertaking an audit of the CDF. Davis brushed off the allegation as evidence of Burchell's inexperience.
No, they don't need to take place. You can check with the CDF office. I'm sure she will be in a meeting with the CDF director before the end of this week for them to tell her exactly how the CDF is handled, how it is managed. I would be down to some level of inexperience, but I guess she will learn.
Homer Davis, a JLP caretaker for South St. James. More than 1,600 pounds of ganja were seized during a police operation on the Pamfret Main Road in St. Thomas on the weekend. 2 men have been taken into custody in relation to the seizure. According to the police, 2 motor cars were intercepted and searched. The search revealed 33 knitted bags containing compressed ganja. The men arrested are 41-year-old Ryan Chambers of White House, Westmoreland, and 30-year-old Takashi Foster of Slipe, St. Elizabeth. They were charged with possession of ganja, dealing in ganja, taking steps preparatory to export ganja, and trafficking ganja. Their court date is being finalized. This marks the second major ganja seizure in St. Thomas in just over a week. To international news now, the U.S. government shut down on Wednesday after congressional Democrats refused to support a Republican plan to extend funding for federal departments unless they won a series of concessions centered on health care. The GOP, which controls the Senate and the House of Representatives, rejected the demands, setting off a legislative scramble that lasted into the hours before funding lapsed at midnight. The shutdown is the first since a 35-day closure that began in December 2018 and extended into the new year during Donald Trump's first term. It comes as Democrats look to regain their footing with voters who re-elected Trump last year and relegated them to the minority in both chambers of Congress. Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer blamed Republicans for plunging America into a shutdown, rejecting bipartisan talks, pushing a partisan bill, and risking America's health care. President Trump has blamed Democrats and has strengthened or has threatened to punish the party and its voters by targeting progressive priorities and forcing mass public sector job cuts. And that's it for the news at 7.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:17.
Rent or buy your hurricane supplies from Total Tools. Visit 102 Main Street, Ocherius, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston 5, or Lot C6, Drax Hall, St. Anne's Bay. The temperature brought to you by Total Tools Jamaica is
29 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 28 out western Montego Bay, and 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The following announcement is from the National Housing Trust. The NHT is now accepting applications for service to lots in Malvern, St. Elizabeth. You have until Wednesday, October 1 to apply. Applications will be accepted online only at www.nht.gov.jm.
That time of the morning when we get our second report of Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Ludlow, good morning again.
Good morning again, Thomas, TT. Our listeners are motoring public and our visitors. We don't leave out our visitors and our transport operators. You know, they do a lot of work all over the island, land, air, sea, and the stakeholders. But let me just tell you, it's bright and sunny and the traffic is still upon us. And those of you in the Waltham Park area coming through Cassia Park, then onto Waltham Park Road, going up, from Cassia Park Road, going across to the intersection of Bay Farm and Waltham, and then going across Keysing. There is some traffic, but it's moving. It goes around, so off Newark, to Keysing, and then Agley Park Road going up. A lot of traffic going in that space. And I should also say, if you're on the Mullines Road side, coming from as far as Hillview Terrace, the Queensbar, yes, and coming all the way down to the Boulevard Mullines intersection, there is traffic in both ways, where they're going down towards Half a Tree via Mullines Road, or as Boulevard heading towards Dunrobin. Those areas have a lot of traffic. Compton Spring Road is the same thing, going all the way into Half a Tree Square, West Kings House, also has traffic, and Waterloo on the other side, traffic. Hope Road going up towards Arden Road, traffic. And going further up towards the Lady Musgrave side, East Kings House, Lady Musgrave Road, and going into Ligony, there's also traffic. And remember, at this time, there's traffic in most places at this point in time, so we urge you to be careful and remember, pay attention to the lanes. And, we have a number of vehicles who like to drive too slow in that lane, but you remember, if you're on that dual carriageway, you keep left, and when you want to overtake, you pass right, and then you get back into the left lane. So at this point, as usual, at Street Smart, your safety is our concern. Over to you, Tona.
Thank you so much, Ludlow, for that second report of Street Smart with Ludlow McLean. Up next, the front page.
Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
We're back with you nationwide this morning. We are on the front page. On the front page this morning, we have a very interesting topic that we're going to delve into. The Jamaica Constabulary Force has released data showing what can be described as a troubling trend of suicide so far into the second half of the year. According to the statistics, 8 suicides were recorded in the month of July alone. That's a 33% increase when compared to July 2024.
Suicides also rose by 20% in August and by 25% in September when compared to the same months last year. The most recent case involves a former Miss Jamaica contestant, Tyra Spalding. The 23-year-old was found dead at her home last week, Tuesday.
The JCF says 44 suicides have been recorded across the country since the start of the year. That's 9 fewer than the 53 cases reported between January and September 2024. Of the 44, 4 occurred in St. Catherine North in July. The JCF says males continue to account for the vast majority of cases. For more, we're joined by Senior Communication Strategist at the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Senior Superintendent Dennis Brooks. Good morning, SSP Brooks.
Good morning to you, and good morning to your listeners and your viewers.
Good having you on this morning. So, based on what we've given that background, what is the data saying from year end as it relates to the suicide cases comparatively between 2024 and so far in 2025?
All right, great way to start, because there are sometimes people say a feeling, and they want to know if the feeling is borne out in statistics. So anecdotally, people might say it feels like more people are committing suicide this year than last year. And when we look at the numbers, it actually is not the case. It is actually the case of persons. Actually, there are fewer when compared to last year, and that is the case. It's 17% fewer than last year, and so it's not more. However, I understand the challenge that people face in terms of the way it feels, because earlier in the year there was a decline, and there was a significant decline month after month after month, and then in the last 3 months there has been a slight uptick. And because of that slight uptick comparative to the earlier part in the year, people may have a feeling, anecdotally, that there are more. But in September, there were 5 compared to 4 last year. That's a difference of 1. But in small numbers, it's 25%.
Yeah.
In August, it was 6 compared to 5 the year before. That's a difference of 1. In July, there were 8 compared to 6. That's a difference of 2. But in every other month this year, there was a difference of 3, or a difference of 2, or a difference of 1 in the minus. But now it's in the plus. But there are some parishes where there are none since the start of the year, and some parishes are generally low, but there are some parishes that are cause for concern.
Right. For example, in Hanover, no cases since the start of the year, as well as the police division of St. Catherine South.
Right. But Hanover has tended to be relatively low when you look at the data.
Yes.
But when you look at St. Catherine South, there were 11 last year and none this year, whereas St. Catherine North, there were 4 last year, but 8 this year. Now, as law enforcement, we are not mental health practitioners, we are not public health practitioners, we're law enforcement, but it is our job to draw the attention of the rest of the society to this reality. So, for instance, we're looking at it division by division, because that's how we get the reports. But if you look at the entire parish of St. Catherine, then maybe there is cause for the various aspects of social support, the faith-based community. We need the churches to get involved. The Ministers Fraternal is very active, for instance, in Spanish Town. There needs to be a greater social support in these spaces to ferret out what's happening at the grassroots level.
An important question to you, Dennis, is the data. Can it be broken down by age, gender, and possibly some people are saying socioeconomic background?
I'm sure it can. I don't have those numbers in front of me today. There is previous research that has been done that looks at it on a more granular level. Research by Dr. Paul Boring and Dennis Brooks back in maybe I think it was 2022 looked at suicide data from as far back as between the year 2000 and 2019, so that was 20 years of data. That data was made available, and public health and community health and psychiatry would have that data to examine in greater detail to provide the necessary social support that would be needed.
And talk to us about that previous long-form data, Dennis. What did it highlight? What was the takeaway from that data over that period?
Again, there were months of the year that stood out from my recollection.
Yes.
There were some months of the year that stood out. And so, for instance, we do look. I mean, I know month is a protracted increase, but for instance, you look at the Yuletide season and you're very mindful of it, but you also look very carefully at the beginning of the year, and sometimes some years we've seen a bad beginning of the year. When you look at trends of suicide, some of the times, and I want to be very careful with my language. Again, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, though my undergraduate degree is in that area. But I want people to understand that, I mean, I leave it to the psychiatrist and the psychologist to do their work. But for instance, there are sometimes, if you want to say, for want of a better phrase, copycat tendencies that you may have one that gets a high profile or gets heavy media treatment, and then you might see another one and another one. And so when you have them, when you see them, you need to intervene into these circumstances and do the behavior change and the behavior modification. And you need to listen to the people. Have you ever, let me just give you this example. Have you ever heard of a suicide and then you hear people saying, "Why would I do it too?" Why sometimes I feel like would I commit suicide? Now, people who speak about it are more likely than to do it. It's more often than not, persons who have committed suicide, so the data will show, have referenced the desire to do it. The people, and let me use the terminology correctly. People who have completed suicide have said something in the past. And is it a case of, did you miss it? Did you ignore it? Did you get tired of hearing it? And or did you become mute to it? But people do cry out for help in many instances, whether it's in the form of making videos, writing notes, cutting themselves. We do know that men complete suicide far more regularly than women globally, because men tend to use more aggressive methods and more definitive methods. Women tend to use more passive methods. And so, for instance, while while females may attempt suicide more frequently, men complete suicide more frequently. But that doesn't mean that because women are underrepresented in the data that you need not pay attention to women. But from a law enforcement perspective, we often see where a woman will complete suicide and her family will not accept that she committed suicide, or that it was self-harm that caused it. I know of a case, I can think of one right now, I think it was 2 years ago, where a woman completed suicide. Her partner came home, two young people. Her partner came home from work and found her hanging, and the woman's family refused to believe that was the case, and accused him significantly that he murdered her, and he wasn't able to grieve over her. They didn't want him at the funeral. He turned up at the funeral. He went in and to say his final words, to pay his final respects, and they walked out of the funeral. These are the spin-off effects of people not being able to confront realities. And the investigation showed that this was a woman who was crying out for help for years, but yet still the family was in denial of this fact. And so, again, we feel it necessary to draw the attention of the society to bring this systems of support that exist in the society to deal with this phenomenon.
Hold for us there, Dennis. We're going to go for a break and then we'll come back with more.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is...
It's 7:33.
Forget ordinary, think Liqui-Moly. Get a 15% discount on all Liqui-Moly oils and additives from April 25th to July 30th at all Burt's Auto Parts locations. Buy 4 or more Liqui-Moly engine oils or 4 transmission oils, you get a free LM40 all-purpose cleaner. But hurry up, the offer runs while stocks last and conditions apply. Forget ordinary, think Liqui-Moly. And remember, it hurts if you don't check Burt's.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hatley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
We're back with you. It's the front page. We're speaking with SSP Dennis Brooks on the suicide statistics that have been produced by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we have been asking some questions about what the data looks like, what the impact has been, and basically what now, what next in cases where we have really popularized, I would say, or a lot of media coverage is being brought to particular cases, and we know of one in very recent times as well. Question to you, Dennis. Are there established protocols of collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Wellness or Mental Health Services after a suicide is reported? For example, for the family, friends, close relatives, neighbors, etc.
Well, I know that from JSA perspective, we have a CSSB system that does provide support. So community safety and security, even though we are not social workers, the police often find themselves doing a great deal of social work, community support, etc. Of course, in some instances, you are supporting the victims, you are supporting the family of the person who has completed suicide, you are supporting the partner sometimes, because they often have no one else to speak with. We do refer, based on, of course, the protocols in the community safety and security branch, we do make referrals to irrelevant authorities. But again, that is generally speaking not our remit to do. Again, there are other systems. I think that, of course, the religious community has its role to play. But in terms of structured protocols, I don't know that those exist. I'd have to educate myself on that aspect. But again, the purpose of this, bringing these numbers to the fore, is to draw national attention, to have conversations like this. I was on another program yesterday, and I was being told that the story that was carried earlier in the day, someone called that station to say, I finally feel like my issues are being heard. There are people who feel like their issues are not being heard.
Yeah, and there are people as well, Dennis, who outside of their family, they don't know where else to go and seek help. So every time this matter of suicide is highlighted, and we use the opportunity here at Nationwide and elsewhere as well to place at the end of a story all of the places in Jamaica where you could possibly go and get help, is amplifying the issue and assisting somebody out there who is listening and might be struggling and don't really know where to go, pointing them in that direction. But to the point you raised, Dennis, about, you know, how sometimes the police personnel, they basically act as social workers, and you're many times the first responders in a case where somebody is attempting suicide, or in cases where, as you put it, suicide was completed. You go on the scene, you're investigating the matter, you're hearing from the family members. You mentioned a case about a partner who the family accused of killing her and didn't believe that she had actually completed suicide. In those instances, has the Jamaica Constabulary Force identified gaps in how the state responds, or society in general responds to suicide, where we could, you know, where there's room for improvement in response?
I mean, there's always room for improvement. And let me preface my comment by saying that, generally speaking, Jamaica has a low rate of suicide in terms of globally. We're not among the countries with a higher rate of suicide. And I imagine that members of the Psychiatric Association of Jamaica, if you invite them on, can speak to what high and low and mid-range countries look like. But Jamaica would be considered relatively low. Now, when we look at, for instance, the reality is that many years ago, we as a society moved from a generally institutionalization model, where persons who are suffering from mental health challenges or experiencing mental health challenges would be sometimes sent to a particular institution for care. We have moved to a community health and psychiatry approach, where we are focused on keeping persons in the community because they have a greater likelihood of recovery and success and return to normality in the communities in which they live. And so the community support systems need to come to them. There are many hard-working persons working in community health, community health aides who have to come to persons' rescue. But there are persons sometimes who, for instance, they're having a mental health episode, for instance, and it's the police that people call because they can call the police, or it happens at an hour where the community health aides are not working at that time, or are not working on that day. And there are challenges because, again, police officers who are called to a scene of somebody wielding a weapon, is not a suicide matter, but it's a broader mental health matter, that you're wielding a weapon maybe. We are not community health aides, and the end result might not go as one would desire, and we would rather not have to intervene in those instances. We are not there to be able to go and give people their medicine. That's not our job. And so I would love for you to have that conversation with Ministry of Health and so forth and so on, and the regional health authorities, to explore the work of the community health system and to see what successes and what challenges or gaps exist there, because that is a more nuanced conversation for them to have.
And that's an important point that you raise, Dennis, as you think about the demographics and the information that has been put out saying that far greater number of men are completing suicide in comparison.
About 87%, yeah.
About 87%. Wow.
About 13% of women complete suicide, about that. And that is over the last, when you look at data over the last 25 years, about 87% of completed suicides are men.
When you go beyond that statistic, Dennis, are you able to say what is being said about why there's such a stark or significant difference in terms of the sex, men versus women committing suicide in Jamaica? For example, I've heard information from folks in my community and elsewhere that the older gentlemen tend to commit suicide because many of them, it's because of illness, prostate cancer and those sort of things, and they just can't manage the pain. For others, it's financial woes and the burden of being the person that everybody's dependent on, and that's some of the information that is being indicated why men complete suicide. But what is it from the JCF's side, perhaps, are you hearing beyond the broad statistic about why the statistic looks like that, men versus women, more men completing suicide?
Well, I can't speak necessarily from a broader JCF perspective. I can give you my inferences that have been drawn from the research that I've seen studying this matter. What I would say is that there are various reasons why people attempt and various reasons why people complete suicide. And as I said before, one of the reasons that may account for a difference in the gender presentation of the data is the fact that women use different methods than men, and men use methods possibly that are maybe more final. So for instance, one person might try to cut their wrist. I'm trying to use language that's fit for morning radio and children who are going to school. Women might use some methods that are less likely to complete the act than men who might be using more definitive means. And so some people, their effort is a cry for help. And people cry out for help differently and receive that help differently. And men, we've known that men have poor health-seeking behavior, including mental health-seeking behavior. And so women are more likely to seek out support than men. Men are more likely to internalize. There are other factors. There are economic factors that drive people to feel like all hope is lost. There are spiritual factors. There are social factors. So, for instance, you're more likely to attempt or complete suicide if you're feeling social isolation more than social integration. And so, for instance, even with young people, this phenomenon of unattached youth often develops into a phenomenon of unattached adults and people feeling a sense of social isolation. Persons who feel isolated may feel like they have less, or nobody's going to miss me, that kind of a thing. We also do know in other parts of the world particular seasons of the year, and so for instance there's seasonal depression, and so persons who are having mental health episodes may have a flare up of that condition at a particular time during a particular season. It might be, people feel more lonely during the Yuletide season when all the families are coming together and you have no family, and then you feel lonely and that kind of a thing, and then you may spiral. There are persons who are suffering with all kinds of other pre-existing mental conditions that have gone untreated because of stereotypes that people may have about mental health, and because they don't want to seek help, because if they seek help it means that they're mad.
Oh, yeah.
And this notion of what does it mean to be mentally ill or to be having a mental illness, because all of us at any given time have had a mental illness. If you felt prolonged depression or prolonged sadness for a period of time. It might be that it's more than just the blues. And so these are things that we need to have these conversations. And I know that in many instances we have swung the pendulum from not speaking about it to everybody speaking about it. And now everybody has anxiety and everybody is a pseudo-psychologist. Those are conversations that we also have to have because people are over-diagnosing themselves in some instances. But again, I am but a police officer. I would rather the mental health professionals have those conversations. But what we are trying to do is open up the conversation for national dialogue, but not national dialogue for the sake of dialogue, national dialogue for the sake of solutions.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear from you, Dennis. Of course, that's all the time we have. That's Senior Superintendent Dennis Brooks, Senior Communication Strategist at the JCF. And we've been having this conversation, very important conversation. And as Dennis says, this conversation is not just to talk about it, but to see how we can have solutions for these issues in our society. Thank you for joining us, Dennis.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going for a break, listeners, and after this, we'll be talking to you about recommendations to boost economic growth. Stick with us.
Bird fried chicken always ready. Original crispy. Bird Shack, Cajun spicy. Bird Shack, a barbecue. Bird Shack, we are go a Bird Shack.
The time brought to you by Bird Shack Fried Chicken in Montego Bay and Ocho Rios is...
It's 7:48.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is...
It's 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 degrees Celsius out west in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
One money, two combo. Burger King pick two, come back again. Yo, that is it. Any two combo, double deal quick. It's a good look, pick any two you wish. Whopper Junior bacon and cheese, my favorite. American chicken sandwich or grab a big fish. Plus two small fries and two small drink. Double deal for my money and it have me a sing. One money, two combo. Burger King pick two, come back again. Yo, get BK double deal now on a Burger King. Burger King pick two, come back again. Yo.
New semester, your time to win. Pick up True products and you're in. True Chip, True Milk, and True Juice. True Almond and True Milk too. Refresh your semester in True Style.
Purchase any 6 True products between August 28 and October 13 for a chance to be one of 3 grand prize winners of $200,000 or 7 weekly winners of $15,000 in supermarket or book vouchers. Visit Tradewinds Citrus on IG for details.
New semester, your time to win. Refresh your semester in True Style.
Conditions apply.
Authorized by the Betting Gaming and Lotteries Commission.
Hey, did you hear? JUTC just launched Rural Express routes.
Really? Where to?
Travel to and from Kingston with direct routes to Ocho Rios, Montego Bay, Negril, Mandeville, Maypen, and coming soon, Port Antonio.
Wow, that sounds convenient, but must be pricey.
Not at all. Special introductory fare just $2,000. Except for Maypen, that's just $1,500. The JUTC Rural Express is here. Your ticket to comfort, connection, and convenience at a price that fits your budget. Whether it's family, school, or a weekend getaway, travel to Jamaica's top destinations with ease and enjoy a smooth, stress-free ride. Visit our social media at JUTC Ltd or log on to www.jutc.gov.jm for schedules.
Back with you this morning, listeners. We're changing gears. Well-known Jamaican businessman and former president of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JMEA, Mr. John Mahfood, is calling for significant job cuts in the public sector in order to move the country's growth agenda forward. He made the call in a media release earlier this week, with the JLP securing a third term in office amidst persistent low growth. The businessman says it cannot be business as usual. To have that conversation, we are joined by Mr. John Mahfood this morning. Good morning, Mr. Mahfood.
Good morning to you and your listeners. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. One of the proposals, Mr. Mahfood, is to cut the bloated public sector to free up resources. Of course, we carried a story yesterday, and Mr. Mahfood, the comment section on that story, you're being highly criticized for that particular proposal. People are asking, why are you trying to cut them food? So I wanted to ask you this morning, how do you see this particular proposal before we go to the others being more of a gain than a disadvantage to those who are currently in the public sector?
Nobody would have any problem with the public sector workers being paid well. But when there was the public sector reform program a number of years ago, the government said to the people and business people, we're going to have a significant review of the public sector workers' salaries. We're going to reclassify. We're going to make it simpler. But we are also going to rationalize the public sector workers to share services among the different ministries and the public sector, and to slim the size of the public sector workers, the workforce, to make it more efficient. And we are going to have a temporary increase in the cost of the public sector workers as a percentage of the total economy. So at the time when they did this, the public sector was about 10% cost to GDP. It has risen to 13% of GDP, with half of the taxes going to pay in the public sector. What that means is that, as part of us having no growth and no government not being able to spend money on the country, they have not rationalized the public sector workers, and too much of the government's resources is going to pay in public sector rather than paying for education and other things that the people of Jamaica need. So I said, listen, when you look at a ministry like the Ministry of Education, they have 7,000 people that are not teachers in that ministry. They don't fully computerize. Everything is paper-based. It's a very inefficient ministry, and the government has not done the type of rationalizing and productivity improvements that they needed to do. As a result, one of the results of that is, unfortunately, that when it came time to increase in salaries the other day, the government said there will be no salary increase because they don't have the resources that are necessary. So they put themselves in a very difficult position. They can't increase salaries of the public sector workers. Too much of the taxes are going to public sector, and we have very minimal unemployment rate. So this is the time when they should be actually rationalizing the public sector, freeing up the people that are not needed in that sector.
You said so simply, John Mahfood, but I want to ask you, based on what you are seeing and your recommendations, where do you cut? Where do you go in with that scissors, as so to speak, and just cut and say, this is where I cut, these are the positions I'm getting rid of, this is how I get this 3% out to bring it down to 10%. Where do you cut?
Well, you have to look at productivity. You have to look at how do you share services among ministries and departments human resources, for argument's sake? Do you need multiple human resources department? Do you need multiple payroll systems? So if you were to computerize communication and documentation in ministries, then you don't have to be having paper going all over the place instead of computerized systems.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is what the government said they were going to do. They just have not done that phase of it. And they are spending too much on one aspect of the economy, which is not productive. And it means that there's not money left to invest in Jamaica. That is just one of the 9 items that I spoke about.
There's another one, a very important one, that you spoke about as it relates to reducing this import concession from the duty-free import concession for individuals from $1,000 to $500 or lower because a flood of small imports evidenced by couriers handling endless packages for people ordering online is hurting our local retailers and manufacturers. I'm sure as well that publicly there will be a lot of flack for that recommendation as well, but explain to us why you made that recommendation.
Well, my own wife and daughter were very against that, because they use the courier services to bring items in. Now, when that's good for everyday people who want to do that, but is it also good for the economy? Mm-hmm. So the more that you bring in through Amazon and others, goods made in China with no duty, means that some manufacturer in Jamaica is not able to make that item, and some retail store in Jamaica is losing sales. So you have to balance the benefit and convenience of having this tax-free opportunity against the livelihood of Jamaican people who are in manufacturing and retailing. And and the same way you saw this happen in the U.S., they just did that. The mighty U.S. realized that they were losing a lot of income. It was damaging their own manufacturing, that they entirely removed that $1,000 tax-free opportunity.
And another of your recommendations, Mr. Mahfood, require hotels, gift shops to stock more local goods. Talk to us about that one.
Well, it's, if you go into any foreign-owned hotel, and I will say to you, I'm not referring to our indigenous hotels, the Sandals and so on, who do try to stock, to buy locally and to stock local items in the gift shops. But any foreign-owned hotel, you go into their gift shops, there's no Jamaican items there, because those gift shops are run somewhere in the world, and where they're run and the items are purchased, they're purchased for all of their hotels. And the items are made in India or China, and they're just shipped into Jamaica. So the small Jamaican manufacturers lose the opportunity of selling to the gift shops. And I think on top of that, the hotels themselves are given too much freedom to import things that are made in Jamaica, whether it is furniture or bedding or other things, as part of their duty-free benefits that they get to set up in Jamaica. So I'd like to see mandated, the purchasing of local goods for hotels and for gift shops to give there's 4 million, they say 4 million tourists come to Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Very little of that is spent on Jamaican goods and services outside of the hotels. And in the hotels, it's the gift shops that are stocking foreign-made goods.
And just before we let you go, Mr. Mufut, to go back to the first proposal that you have here about the bloated public sector, which seems to be the one that has captured the attention of most Jamaicans. If it is that the government does go ahead with this, broad rationalization and to cut public sector workers, I mean, what is the word out there now to those who may be a part of that cut? How does the government treat with that?
The government right now, our unemployment rate is at the lowest. A number of companies, even BPO sectors, are struggling to find employees who can operate in those sectors. So the economy needs more educated people, and that's where the source of that is, the public sector. Let's move those people that are not really productive into the private sector so that the private sector have employees and they don't have to talk about importing people from other countries to do the work. So I think this is the opportunity to move from being unproductive to being productive.
John Mufut, he is a businessman and former president of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, talking to us this morning about some of his recommendations to boost economic growth here in country. John Mufut, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Gonna take a break here on NTM for Across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
When you want the food shell and make the rice well, just give me candy. Well, it's all KENDEA. Give me candy.
Another quality product from the Carimed Group.
Just give me candy.
The time by Kendall Foods. The taste of quality is
3 minutes after 8.
Success, powered by learning. The temperature, brought to you by Sandals Corporate University. Come grow with us, is
29 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 23 degrees Celsius.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's Across Jamaica this morning.
Time now to go across Jamaica. My name is George Davis. The House of Representatives is receiving significant support from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, CPA, to review its standing orders. The standing orders are the rules that govern the proceedings, actions, and the conduct of members in the chamber. Speaking at the opening ceremony for the orientation of members of Parliament on Tuesday, House Speaker Juliet Holness advised that the association has been doing a comparison of all these standing orders across similar Commonwealth countries, including Australia and the United Kingdom. She says the CPA is coming back with recommendations for Jamaica's Standing Orders Committee. She says the recommendations, the CPA rather, has literally leapfrogged Jamaica in significantly moving to get support for doing research and compilation so that Jamaican legislators are ahead of the game when the Standing Orders Committee meets to do a review. Mrs. Holness says the standing orders will be world class as it will accept best practice from similar institutions. The Universal Service Fund is looking to revamp community access points across the island. The Jamaica Information Service is reporting that the Transport, Telecoms and Energy Minister Daryl Vaz told the Caribbean Telecommunications Union Information and Communications Technology Week press briefing words to that effect at the AC Hotel in St. Andrew. Vaz says the revamp will begin during the current fiscal year, targeting 14 community access points. The USF continues to expand its national footprint through the rollout of community Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi in town centers, and sustained support for digital education initiatives in schools. Minister Vaz says to date the USF has rolled out over 400 Wi-Fi hotspots and has spent approximately $2 billion annually. The public network currently serves an average of more than 150,000 users weekly. Jamaica will officially launch National Cybersecurity Awareness Month on October 1, joining the global movement to promote safer online practices and build digital resilience. Director of the Cyber Incident Response Team Division, Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, says the month is being marked under the international theme Secure Our World and Jamaica's national theme Secure Today, Smart Tomorrow. He says the challenges facing cyberspace remain dynamic and complex. He says through the Awareness Month activities, the aim is to strengthen the culture of Jamaica's cyber awareness across all sectors while improving cooperation and helping individuals adopt safer online practices. That's it for Across Jamaica.
Sagicor is spreading the word. Catch it early.
Catch it early.
Catch it early. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Early detection can save your life. Don't drop the ball. Get screened for breast cancer today. Do your self-examinations regularly and schedule your mammogram. Make sure you're prepared. Get Sagicor Life Critical Illness Insurance. Access up to 25% of your sum insured on early diagnosis of breast cancer. Conditions apply. Catch it early.
New semester, your time to win. Pick up True products and you're in. True Ship, True Milk, and True Jokes. True Almond and True Moto. Refresh your semester in True Style.
Purchase any 6 True products between August 28 and October 13 for a chance to be one of 3 grand prize winners of $200,000 or 7 weekly winners of $15,000 in supermarket or book vouchers. Visit Tradewinds Citrus on IG for details.
New semester, your time to win. Refresh your semester in True Style.
Conditions apply.
Authorized by the Betting Gaming and Lotteries Commission.
Me grow up as my granny save her money under her mattress.
But at an old time something. That's where I save my money in the bank. And become a one. Buy a little house, but also save in a building society. We have to be smart with how we save our money.
So, what if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in. Make I tell you something. With the JDIC Deposit Insurance Scheme, once you save your money in a commercial bank, merchant bank, or building society, your deposit is covered up to a maximum of $1.2 million per depositor per financial institution if the institution fails. All the information that you need is available at jdic.org, and you can follow their social media platform for more information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Fit Nation is brought to you by Express Fitness 24/7. Your goal is our mission.
You wanna hot body? You wanna Bugatti? You wanna Maserati? You better work. You wanna Lamborghini? Sitting martinis, look hot in a bikini. You better work. You wanna live fancy, live in a big mansion, party in France. You better work. You better work. You better work. You better work. Now get to work.
It's time for Fit Nation this morning. Of course, you know what time it is. It's that time when, we talk about you keeping fit, getting out there, getting strong, just ensure you get that run in, get your cardio in, get your gym in. It's Fit Nation. But now we're focusing on a very interesting aspect. of sport. If you didn't know that this is a sport, then you're going to learn today. The JABBFA is an approved sporting association of Jamaica, registered by and operating through the Sports Development Foundation of Jamaica. The JBBFA is the Jamaica's only international federation of bodybuilding and fitness. And if you don't know what that means, I'm going to tell you. It is the Jamaica Amateur Bodybuilding and Fitness Association of Jamaica. I'd call it JABFA. They are recognized as the governing body for amateur bodybuilding, physique, bikini and body fitness competitions, and the only Jamaican organization that qualifies competitors for the IFBB, which is of course the International Federation of Bodybuilding and Fitness, their competitions and awards, and competitors for the IFBB Elite Pro Card. JABFA stages a full program of national events each year, including pre-assessments, posing sessions, anti-doping sessions, and a national championship and sports festival. For more, I am joined by JABFA's Vice President, Kirk Frankson. Good morning to you, Kirk.
Good morning, and good morning to your listeners. Thank you for having us.
Indeed. Tell us a little bit more about JABFA.
All right, so again, I want to say thanks for having us and appreciate that extensive introduction. As you had made reference to, JABFA, Jamaica Amateur Bodybuilding and Fitness Association, is one of the smaller sporting associations in Jamaica, and I like the context you established that what's important for us is to appreciate health and wellness, for us to appreciate that not everyone essentially is going to be a track and field, Usain Bolt, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and it's an opportunity for us to recognize that we have over 60 sporting disciplines across the country. And for us at JABFA, we present, as you had indicated, a series of opportunities for persons to show their hard work in the gym.
Yeah.
So for us, we have 4 competitions over the year. We just finished our national senior championships where we'd have crowned the representatives for the Mr. Jamaica, Miss Jamaica. And what's interesting about our suite of programs at JABFA is that for both males and females, we have over 4 different categories. So most times when persons hear about bodybuilding, they want to think about, I would say, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, but for us, like most sporting associations, in the same way that when we think about track and field, we have the sprints and we have the longer distances. The same is true for us in bodybuilding. We have that traditional bodybuilding where we actually divide persons according to weight categories, but we also have men's physique, which is referred to, I guess, colloquially as, I want to call it the beach body, where persons wear the shorts. We also have the categories for classic bodybuilding, and for the females, we also have 4 categories. We recently launched a category called Fit Model, which is really the fusion of Miss Universe meets JABFA. So persons go on stage in a bikini, but they also go on stage in a gown. We have the Fit Model categories, which are supported by the bikini fitness and the more traditional body fitness categories.
I see. That's interesting. So how does somebody become a member of the association?
Okay, so the process to be a member is threefold. One, once they indicate an interest, being a member of the association requires them to complete some administrative work. So they would complete a membership form which they can access on any of our platforms. So they can go onto our website, www.jabfa.com, onto our Instagram handle, again, the same JABFA, or any other platforms, or they can email us. Again, the address is similar in terms of it is jabfaevents@gmail.com. Once they've completed the membership form, they pay a membership fee. We do a pre-assessment with them to indicate which category they're actually best suited for, and then they will actually do their own personal training at the gym. In this case, if it is that they have an Express membership fitness, they maintain that relationship with Express, and then they come to the workshops we have during the year, and they compete at the different events.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about your annual calendar. What do you do throughout the year other than the normal competitions you have? Do you have other things that people would expect to see from JABFA throughout the year?
Yeah, so we do have several other activations during the year to support our competition. So we do posing sessions which help persons prepare for the events. We partner with organizations like JADCO, Jamaica Anti-Doping Commission, to have persons sensitized on anti-doping regulations. Likewise, we go around to the different gyms conducting sensitization trainings, recruitment. We also, in terms of looking at what we do, we have our athletes participating in other fitness-related events, so whether it's actually going to schools or health fairs, 5K runs, and trying to increase awareness for the benefits of training, the benefits of actually having a healthy lifestyle. And for us, one of the things is that we focus on a healthy lifestyle, not just having that physical element, but mental element. Having gone to the gym, I think most of us recognize it's not just physical, but it becomes your safe space, a sanctuary for you, so it's more than the physical.
Okay. So to our listeners interested, wondering, can I be a part? Can I participate in these competitions? What do you have to say to them?
So again, definitely reaching out to the listeners, inviting them to be a part of our events. We still have 2 more events for the year, having just completed our nationals. We have our invitational on November 29th at the Courtly Auditorium. Persons can sign up. We also try to have a more national appeal, so we have our Western Regional Championship later in the year. And if it is that person think they need more time, they can reach out to us again at any other platforms. We will have our national coach or a member of the team reach out to them and guide them to prepare for next year.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Kirk. Tell us again where people can reach you. Tell us your details.
Okay, so thanks again. So persons can reach us via phone, 589-8264. They can reach us via the website, http://jabfa.org. They can reach us via email, jabfaevents@gmail.com.
All right, thank you for joining us, Kirk, in Fit Nation. That's Kirk Frankson, Vice President of the Jamaica Amateur Bodybuilding and Fitness Association. Thanks, Kirk.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, listeners, that was Fit Nation. Of course, we talked about very interesting things. After this, I think we should be taking some calls. Yeah, I think we should be taking some calls after this. So stick with us. It's Nationwide this morning. Don't go anywhere.
You want a hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Maserati? You better work.
Fit Nation was brought to you by Express Fitness 24/7. Your goal is our mission.
Are you living with HIV? It's time to access treatment, get back to business, and begin your path to a brighter, healthier future. The time brought to you by Jamaica AIDS Support for Life is...
It's 8:20.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy. It's all good inside is...
31 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 degrees Celsius out west in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Sagicor is spreading the word. Catch it early.
Catch it early. Catch it early.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Early detection can save your life. Don't drop the ball. Get screened for breast cancer today. Do your self-examinations regularly and schedule your mammogram. Make sure you're prepared. Get Sagicor Life Critical Illness Insurance. Access up to 25% of your sum insured on early diagnosis of breast cancer. Conditions apply. Catch it early.
Come into the parlor, there's a welcome there for you.
Welcome to the Mayor's Parlor with Desmond McKenzie.
From 1 to 6 p.m. every Sunday, you'll now get more of your favorite vintage music.
Put your head on my shoulder.
Nationwide 90 FM will transform your Sunday into a musical time machine that will take you way back.
Come with me. Let's go back in time.
This magic moment
Journey into yesteryear with Desmond McKenzie in the Mayor's Parlor.
I've got the music to jog your memory and make you smile.
Put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy the best in vintage music.
Come into the Mayor's Parlor every Sunday between 1 and 6 p.m. here on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Those oldies but goodies reminds me of
Attention all data protection enthusiasts. Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM every Tuesday at 8:20 a.m. and Thursday at 8:25 a.m. for a new program, Data Protection Matters. Starting June 4, 2024, join us as we delve into crucial topics that will keep you informed and compliant. Data Protection Matters is hosted by Chuck Cameron, founder of Design Privacy, your trusted partner in data protection. Don't miss out. That's every Tuesday morning at 8:20 and every Thursday at 8:25 a.m. Stay protected, stay informed with Nationwide 90 FM and Design Privacy.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. While we wait for your calls, I did see a number of you asking earlier in relation to the national ID, the email address or phone number to call. So the phone number, 876-920-3576. That's the NERA phone number, 876-920-3576. And the email is appointment@online.nira.gov.jm. appointment@online.nira, that's .nira.gov.jm. And you can make your applications now for your national ID at the NERA Service Center at the Central Sorting Office, 6-10 South Camp Road. You have to send an email indicating your interest in getting your national ID. They'll tell you the period that is available and for you to indicate a date and a time that you can come to the Central Sorting Office at the NERA location to have your application done. They'll, of course, email you back indicating the different documents that you need to bring when you are gonna be making your application. Outside of that, I was just having a conversation with my colleagues about the new visa surcharge that is now in effect. So, new visa surcharge of $250 is now in effect. So if a person's out there who will be seeking to get a visitor's visa, for example, a surcharge is now being applied. So the visa cost is now $185 plus the surcharge of $250. So the total cost is $435 for some travelers. Business visas, visitor, tourist, student visas, $435. what was the exchange rate again today? But let's put it at 161. So 435 times 161. That's just a little over $70,000 that it will cost a Jamaican who is seeking to get a U.S. visa, visitor, business, student visa, $435. And let's say for those, because we know some people in Jamaica, they use a service to do the application process. And last week I was hearing from a friend that the cost for service is now upwards of 60,000. So let's add 60,000 to that for Jamaicans who will be using a service to apply for their U.S. visa. So that's $130,000 if it is that you're about to make your U.S. visa application. $185 for the application, surcharge $250 US. That's $70,035. And then if you are using a service that costs at least $60,000, that's $130,000 and change to apply for your visa. I see Sharifa Griffith says, no, Tana, the surcharge isn't applicable to every country. I'm talking about Jamaica. Yes, there are countries that are exempted, but for Jamaica, there is the surcharge. So it takes effect. It's now in effect. $250 is the surcharge. And just to give you a little bit more information on the surcharge, so it is refundable. There is a refundable option in relation to this $250,000. Hello? Nobody would apply for a U.S. visa. But there is a refundable option for this $250 US dollar surcharge. So the provision allows for the refund of the $250 US fee to visa holders who fully comply with their visa terms and depart the US on time. So the refundable option, a provision allows for the refund of the US $250 fee to visa holders who fully comply with their visa terms and depart the US on time. And I was just Googling some information about this. Google brought up that the fee is being introduced to discourage overstays. The primary purpose of what is being called the visa integrity fee is to act as a deterrent to visa overstays by creating a financial penalty for non-compliance. And it's also being seen as a fundraising for U.S. interests. The fee is also framed as a way to collect funds to support various U.S. government interests. So again, for those who are just joining us here on NTM, that surcharge of $250 US being called the visa integrity fee is now in effect for many foreign nationals applying for non-immigrant visas, adding to the standard application fee, which is now at $185 US, bringing the total cost to US $435 for some travelers. This fee, implemented under the One Big Beautiful Bill, is primarily for travelers from countries not participating in the visa waiver program, such as Jamaica, and is intended to deter visa overstays, though it can be refunded if visa terms are fully met, as I was indicating to you. As to the process in relation to that refund, I'll have to gather some more information about how that will work and come back and tell you guys how that will work. I'm seeing your reactions in the chat. Eva Lyons Mitchell says, so question, I pay $250 to get my visa and it's refundable after I've traveled. What if I'm not traveling until next year or the next 2 years? Right. So Eva, that's the information I'm going to gather for you about how the refund will work and come back to you with that information. We're going to take a break here on NTM and come back with more.
Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets.
The time by Grace Good Move is
8:31.
Looking for a partner on your financial journey? Look no further. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited offers attractive loan specials and easy savings plans. Plus, becoming a member is simple. If you're over the age of 16 and want to join a credit union that truly cares about your financial wellness, you may be eligible for membership. Conditions apply. Call or visit us at www.jpscu.com to find out more and start building your future today. JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union Limited, your financial partner for life.
One money, two combo. Burger King pick two, come back again. Yo, that is it. Any two combo, double deal quick. It's a good look, pick any two you wish. Whopper Junior bacon and cheese, my favorite. American chicken sandwich or grab a big fish. Plus two small fries and two small drink. Double deal for my money and it have me a sing. One money, two combo. Burger King pick two, come back again. Yo, get BK double deal now on a Burger King. Burger King pick two, come back again. Yo.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. Our first caller, West.
Hey, good morning, Tana.
Good morning to you, West.
Yeah, listening to you about the US visa, it don't move on to enough for me because US is the last place in the world I think I'm wanting to go.
Sweet Jamaica for you, West.
Yes, man. I must say congratulations to you and the team and all the staff and the sponsors of the back to school quiz.
Mm-hmm.
Believe me, it was really a sport. It was an entertainment. The only problem I have, it was too short.
Oh.
I wish it could go on. Believe me, it was very entertaining and George blazed some fire, sparked some fire in it that way. You know, I think I think the show, the one with George and what's his name?
George and Sandre.
Yes. That one was so promoted that, believe me, I make sure I come home and park my vehicle because I don't want nobody call me.
Yes.
I put my phone on flight mode and Wi-Fi, so you couldn't disturb my car. But believe me, it was.
That was the case for a lot of people, West.
Yeah, man,
they were tuned in.
I wonder if there's any other company, not even just radio station, any other company, organization have any such thing like this. It was wonderful, man. Trust me.
Yes, it was indeed great, and the two of them really upped the ante.
Very much, man, and the sponsors come on board.
All the sponsors were wonderful.
I am sorry I couldn't sponsor too.
So West, now that you're saying it and you're here on the record, you can next year, because one of our YouTubers, one of our listeners, Herman, did sponsor a gift for the quiz. I don't remember what it was for, but she did have a cash prize. She did have a cash prize for something in the quiz. So you can sponsor something next year, man, West. West?
What?
Are you hearing me? It doesn't seem West is hearing me. I'm not sure what's wrong with West's line, but let's try to get him back. In the meantime, Elaine, good morning. Kevin, so we've lost Elaine as well. Kevin, good morning. Kevin? Okay. So our numbers again, 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374. Digital line 618-8255. I should tell you guys as well that representatives from the U.S. Embassy will be on Nora's program next week, Wednesday. So tune in for the Consumer Hour, 9 to 10 a.m. next week, Wednesday. Representatives from the U.S. Embassy will be on. So the questions that you have about how the refund works and all of that, they should be able to answer those questions next week, Wednesday, for you during the Consumer Hour with Nora.
Yeah, you see, a lot of people a lot of people are talking about the quiz, and I'm here to say, I'm here to say, for those who bet on me, you placed a good bet. I think that my handlers, they didn't prepare me enough, but my lawyers, they are assiduously working behind the scenes, querying some things that happened in that particular first round match, Tana, and I dare say they are prepared and ready to go all the way to the Privy Council if needs be. So don't be worried. The results stand as is as of now, but after the legal battles are done, we will know if everything is everything. So I say to you, those who have bet on me, I know I don't support betting, but those who, you did place your bet on me, and I see a couple of people who have. I thank you for your support. But no, we're going all the way to the Privy Council. Don't worry. Don't. Vernon Barrett say. Who do we have protecting JA? Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Tana.
Morning.
I'm having some concerns, and it's in relation to Mrs. Donna Scott Matthews' utterances concerning Jamaica's foreign policy. How many countries are there who are part of the UN?
I have to check that number, but several.
Yeah, over 100 and probably over 180 or so. Yeah.
How many countries walked out when the Israeli Prime Minister was speaking?
So I think the number was somewhere. It was 70 something. I'm not sure of the exact number.
See,
so there are 193 countries in the UN.
Yeah, but we aren't sure if all of them were there. So
right.
So I'm assuming that majority of them were there. So yeah, somewhere around that figure. Yeah.
You see, we have to be careful, because we went down this road before, where we, and I say we because it is all of Jamaica who suffers when leaders make decisions that are not well thought out. And we played with the idea that we were big and bold because people who were trained attorneys, and sometimes I wonder if these people are trained as lawyers, if they think that because they might understand laws and procedures, if, their positions are the only positions that matter. And we played this dangerous game already, where we took positions that were not well considered, and all of Jamaica suffered. Now we have stable, sensible leadership that says that it makes better sense to have discussions to arrive at solutions than to go with this beating chest, bad man, big man kind of approach. And then you might end up isolating yourselves, backing yourselves in a corner. I mean, Israel was founded by America, Germany, and England. Which part in this Jamaica fit? And then to be backing your position with lies. In 2022, did Jamaica not put forward its position as it relates to Palestine being a state by itself? Did Jamaica not do that?
A very bold position, yes. I'd say, yeah. Yeah, they did.
In 2023, did Jamaica not again put forward a position that we recognize a two-state solution as the only way forward to solve this problem?
It did.
And in 2024 again, and in 2025, just the other day, the Prime Minister stood up at the UN in his speech and said that he abhors the humanitarian crisis that has been created.
He indeed took the matter to the UN floor.
And again called for a two-state solution to settle this matter. What is wrong with the PNP? I see a PNP activist. I don't know if he's still a member of the PNP. Clyde Williams, I think, if that is his name. I don't remember correctly right now. He said that we must recognize that there's one government at a time in Jamaica. And the PNP has put together a group of people, seemingly they're going on bird hunting. And we must be careful, and the PNP must remember that it's one government at a time. There's somebody, another PNP said a few years ago, I'm wrapping up now, that the PNP really don't know how to survive in opposition. And in all, seek to always behave as if they are government. And I must say to the PNP that Jamaica will never go back to the crazy, careless, and unthoughtful Michael Manley positions as it relates to foreign affairs. And that's what I want to talk about this morning.
Thank you so much, Protecting J.A. We have Dwayne on with us. We're strapped for time, but Dwayne, you're our last caller because we're strapped for time.
I could not agree. Good morning. I could not agree with what gentleman more than what he just said. We don't have to beat up the chest, you know. Dialogue is the best way forward. So I agree with him 100% on that. And I want to say something quick on the road that's Arthurwind Drive, just at the time coming from there. So there's a whole lot. It seems like a work commission dig a trench across the road, and it's causing a lot of hiccup in the morning and evening when you're driving that thoroughfare. Because one side of the road, everybody wants to come on the right hand side because they can't go, so they put up to go down in that crater. So I'm asking you to just ask them to come and do with that quick as possible the road.
Yeah, I hope Michelle is hearing this one. I think I saw it yesterday, as a matter of fact, Dwayne, on Arthurwind Drive. Yeah,
it's at the corner here, right?
Yeah.
At the corner, what is on the road there, American road there.
So we're appealing to the authorities right now, and of course we'll have to reach out to them as it relates to
it's going to be worse.
It's going, it's going to be worse. And that's a major thoroughfare. Thank you, Dwayne.
Yeah.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is...
It's 8:44.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King. Order the new cheesy fries from Burger King and load it your way with bacon, jalapenos, crispy onions, or extra cheese. Limited time only.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby.
If you need me, call me, no matter where you are, no matter how far.
Don't worry, baby.
Just call my name, I'll be there in a hurry. You don't have to worry, 'cause baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby.
Remember the day I set you free? I told you you could always count on me, darling. From that day on, I made a vow I'll be there when you want me, some way, somehow. Oh, baby, there ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough, ain't no river wide enough to keep me from getting to you, baby.
Well, it's that time. But before we get into that time, Tana, because Tana will be doing our birthdays with Ernest this morning. I dare say, as one of our callers mentioned it, I don't know, maybe some persons have more experience. I wasn't alive back in Manley's time when, a lot of persons talk about his stage when it came on to diplomatic matters. But the question I have, and I know callers will dig into it today and others will dig into it. I want somebody to come out and answer it like that. What would it have benefited Jamaica? What would it have benefited Jamaica to get up and walk out of that session at the UN General Assembly? What benefit would Jamaica have gotten from that move? Foreign policy oftentimes dictates actions, dictates symbolic actions, yes, but never to the detriment of the people that the country serve. So I think that's what the caller was trying to say, but I want to know, what are your views on it, listeners, viewers? What benefit would Jamaica, the country, the person internationally that Jamaica is, big, black, green and coal, what benefit would it have had to Jamaica to get up and walk out of that speech at the UN General Assembly? Tell me that. I want you to answer that question. Now, it's October 1st. Am I sad, King? Am I sad? No, I'm not sad. But what I will say, Tana, it's not September.
That's okay, Sondre. That's okay. We embrace all the people who are very happy it's October. It's their time now, their month. Their big days are coming up, and let's see who right off the bat are celebrating their birthday on October 1. Happy birthday going out, this one says, to my niece Jillian Mellish on her 32nd new birth year, from Uncle Len's cousins Damar, Deline and Josette, and Grandma Elsa. So happy birthday to you, Jillian. Wishing for you a good one. To our friends on Facebook.
Before you get into that one, Annie Smith is saying happiest birthday greetings to a loyal YouTuber and friend, Javier Simpson, Javvi. One more year upon them, celebrate life, and good morning to you too, Juliet Sanchez. I see you spewing inaccuracies in the chat, but good morning to you.
Good morning, Juliet. Happy birthday going out to Seapert Brown, Jody Burnett James, Keds Colliard, Tracy Ann Brooks, Jennifer Lowe, Denise Hutchinson, Kareen Thompson, Christopher Cubby Taylor, the athlete. Oh, it's Chubby. Oh, that's not what I see here, but okay. Christopher.
No, that's Christopher Cubby Taylor. Yes.
Yeah, we said it, the athlete. But they have Cubby here.
It's Cubby. That's his nickname. Jermaine, please don't mess us up while we're on here, please. But yeah, Christopher Taylor, the athlete, from Calabar, now on the national scene, on the international scene. He's done well at the World Championships. He's back. He's back with fire. Christopher Taylor, a very happy birthday to you on your day. And no, I'm not a Calabar supporter, but you have to pick up Chris Taylor.
Good colors you're in this morning.
Cut. Is the subliminal messages from Mr. King?
Is Christopher Taylor part of the water initiative? The Calabar water for the. Oh, Cliff was drinking water yesterday? Oh, there you go.
I have one from Annie Smith saying happy birthday to loyal YouTuber 007, celebrating your life, wishing you the best, one more year upon them. That's coming from Annie Smith to 007. Erica Smith as well is sending special happy birthday greetings to you.
Happy birthday to more of our Facebook friends: Natasha Williams, Venetia, Tanisha Claire, Shane Bennett, Tammy Lee, Saddam Fairley, Cornelia Johanna Clark, Jermaine Salmon, and Sandra K. Jonas. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday greetings going out to Stephanie Minto Hines from Tanisha, Kimar, Ariel, and Annabelle. Thanks for being such a genuine and kind-hearted woman of God. And we pray the Lord continues to bless and keep you. We love you, Steph. So, Stephanie, it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, baby, that ain't no
Yeah, Roger Smart says it best. Anybody talk bad about the best month, they're just vexed they weren't born in the best month. I don't have to call the name of the best month. I'm saying from Janice, happiest of birthdays to her beautiful niece Azalea Davis, from your Aunt Claire, enjoy your day to the fullest. Another one I have here, happiest of birthdays to Vanessa Stewart, God's blessings for many more great years, have a great one. That's from Everton Harris, wishing a very happy birthday there. I don't think I've missed any, but of course.
Did you catch this one, Michelle Morgan?
No, I didn't catch that one.
Michelle Morgan, it's your birthday, and the greetings are coming from Albert Morgan, your dad. So happy birthday to you, Michelle Morgan. A lovely daughter, Albert says, wishing for you a lovely day.
Erica Smith, I'm told that you missed the cusp of September, and as a result you were born on the 1st of October, so it is your special day. Very special happy birthday to you, Erica Smith, a loyal YouTuber here, and she is celebrating today, and we're wishing her a very special happy birthday. As well as Cass is saying happy birthday to daughter Terrian Lawrence. Terrian, it's your day, wishing you a very, very, very special day. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
And it's the birthday of a VVVVIB, a very, 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 very important birthday. It's the birthday of our very own Kimarley Rowe, celebrating his birthday today. Kimarley Rowe, an asset to Nationwide and a jack of all trades. Happy birthday to you. Your NNN family sending you much love on your big day. Enjoy your birthday.
Happy birthday, my friend. One more year on them. More life to your car with the till the end. Real from me, I don't pretend. Big birthday, bash. If I ever on the ground, take a splash. Give thanks for my life, oh gosh. Watch it, them make me go deep in the stash. Drink and smoke, so we frost. Turn up the sound box. Girl, them a bubble to the max. Everything well, cool and relax. So we send out the location. They a pass back. We a pop champagne non-stop, yeah. Happy birthday, my friend. Yeah. One more year on them. Yeah. Go on a vibe. Give thanks for life. Next year we doing it again.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King. Have you tried the Burger King's new cheesy fries? Get the best tasting fries topped with a creamy jalapeno cheese sauce. Get yours today.
One more year on them. One more year on them. One more year on them. Yeah. Happy birthday, my friend.
And as we wrap, Patricia Richardson sending happy birthday to Andrea Phillips. Much love and blessings on your birthday, Andrea, from Patricia. And 007 saying, is also wishing Albert's daughter happy birthday. Yeah, so that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. Thanks to our technical operator, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McCrae Smith. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana.
I'm Sandre.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We are pop champagne non-stop, yeah. Happy birthday,
You just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
Go on a vibe. Give thanks for life. Next year we doing it again, yeah.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
Using a special water tracing method, the scientists from the Water Resources Authority conducted an assessment of the Rio Bueno Sub-Watershed Management Unit to trace how rivers, springs, and underground water connect and flow. The findings